Hello everybody. Welcome to our business communication class. Actually, this is my first video and I'm sending it to you pretty late because I've been procrastinating for so long to start it because I was afraid that it's not going to work very well. But I cannot procrastinate anymore, so I have to start it. And actually the reason why I'm doing this, because I thought it would be really nice to keep some kind of contact with each other. So I'm trying and I'm going to do my best to send you a little bit of summary of all the topics that we are going to cover. So we are going to have these short videos and afterwards we will have the one-on-one lesson, or actually not a one-on-one but a lesson through the Zoom meeting application, which means that we are going to see each other in person as well. So I'm hoping that this way we can keep contact, and if you have any questions or any comments, any feedback, constructive of course, I will be happy to hear that, because it's a very new situation for many of us, just like for you and for us teachers as well. So I'm hoping I can give you some good ideas, some tips, maybe some things that you can think it over before we have the lesson together. Well, let's start it. So the topic that I chose for today is the conflict management. And now we are living in a time when everything is so uncertain. We have no idea actually whatsoever what is going to be the next step in our life. So of course, in normal everyday life, we have conflicts, but think about it, how many more conflicts we have on a personal level, of course, and also on a level of the government and maybe people, and on a global level as well. So we are going to deal with many conflicts. That's why I decided that this time we are going to talk about this. And as you know, we have discussed a little bit of stress management so far, not much, but we have touched this issue. And probably you have heard of this term, the fight or flight, which means that when we face a problem, when there is some kind of stress, maybe you remember from the video, the Amy Cuddy video, the body language and so on. I think she talked about the stress, how we react to stress. So basically what happens then when we face any kind of stressful situation, just like nature does, animals and all kinds of creatures, human beings, we behave the same way. We have two options, either to fight or to flight from the situation. So this is what we do in the conflict as well. Many people try to avoid conflicts, and that means that they don't want to deal with it at all. So they try to deny that there is actually a problem. This is when we decide to flight, to run away from a conflict. But on the other hand, there are situations when we really need to step into the situation. We really need to be there and face it. But now I'm going to give you some advices, some tips how to deal with conflicts. And hopefully you can use that not only on a professional level, but hopefully you will be able to use it in your private life. And many times I emphasize that during the lessons, that I would like this knowledge to be helpful for you, not only in a business context, but also in your private life. So let's see, what are these 8 tips? I'm going to bring up 8 tips that you can use. I also have my notes here, so I'm going to look into the wall a few times. I'm sorry about it if it's bothering for you. So anyway, the first tip is to consider the best time and the place for the conversation. Now think about it. It's very important. Think about an example. It's very important when a conflict arises that you need to solve that as soon as possible, because many times in business and in private life, everything is ASAP, which means as soon as possible. So you have to do it as soon as possible. You have to talk about it. But usually there is, if you are overwhelmed in the situation, if there is a lot of things that are happening around you, you are stressful, you are probably facing many problems, you don't even know what's going on, maybe that's not the best time to address a problem, an issue to another person who is involved. So the first tip is to consider the best time and the place. So it's a good idea to make an appointment, to sit down with the person who is involved, or maybe more people, maybe in a team, and think about it. What would be the best for you? It happens many times when we are overstressed, we are going through emotional turmoil. That means that we are so what is the right for that? So we are really under the effect of stress, and we really want to solve it quickly. But it's better to calm down a little bit, maybe count up to 10, maybe up to 100, depending on your stress level, and just maybe showing the other person that the managing of this conflict is important for you, but you want to have a certain amount of time, a set time and place for that. So this is the first tip. When something arises, think about it. And also, it's not only helpful, but it's very professional if you show that you want to spend time and really you want to make yourself feel calm before you start managing a conflict. The second one is that assume positive intentions. Again, when we are going through an emotionally difficult situation, when somebody hurt us or gave us a feedback that we could not or cannot agree with, we tend to think that the other person has bad intention, and that's, in a way, it's very natural. So don't worry about that. That's part of the process. But if you want to be, again, professional, you want to be smart, and you want to work with yourself in a different way, maybe you remember the growth mindset and fixed mindset, we also talked about it a little bit. So if you train yourself to assume positive intentions from the other side, probably you are going to be more successful. Because what happens when you have that in mind, that you have a positive attitude towards the other person, it's going to be an easier situation for you, because you don't want to attack the person, and this person won't feel attacked as well, so he or she doesn't have to be defensive. Okay, so if you assume these positive intentions, that means that you are on a partner level. So that means that you are not the one who has the truth and you want to suppress the other person, but you are basically on the same level. Okay, also it's going to be helpful for the team, and it shows your enthusiasm, and also it shows that you want to be part of this. You don't want to be apart from the team. You want to solve it together, and you don't only have to work together, but you also have this positive attitude. So it's going to be helpful for the team, for the good of the team. Number 3, make sure it's a two-way conversation. Many times when we find ourselves in a conflict, we tend to think that it's only our problem, that only we are affected by the problem. But that's not the truth. I can't think of a situation when there is a conflict that only one person is involved. The other person is going to have bad feelings as well. So make sure that you listen. And many times until now in our classes, I also emphasize that how important is that to listen to the other person. Maybe you remember from one of the classes that we did this little exercise when I asked one person to come out and I was listening to him or her. And you probably remember that there were 3 steps. The first step one was when I asked the person to tell me about his morning, for example. How was your morning? And when he started to speak, I turned around, I checked my phone, I asked questions from other students, and the person stopped and felt weird, right? In the second step, when he started to speak, okay, for example, how was your morning? He said a few things, and when he said something that I could relate to, I jumped into the conversation right away, okay? So it was also difficult for the person because I was listening, but only because I wanted to respond and I wanted to share something about myself. And many times it happens in a conflict as well. So here, number 3 was to make sure that it's a two-way conversation. So when you hear the other person talk to you, just calm down and open your ears and listen to the person truly and try not to respond right away. So set aside your thoughts. Maybe I also told you that when I am doing actually business coaching with clients, of course there are some ideas, some emotions that come up during my listening time. But my job is to listen to that person. And when these thoughts, ideas, memories, or emotions come up, I tend to say that I put it on a shelf. So that means that I listen to the person, I give space for her or him, and when all my emotions, feelings, and memories come up, I just set them aside. So this is a good example for that. When you have a conversation with someone in a conflict, make sure that you truly listen and you are not just waiting for the chance to share your ideas. It's going to be fruitful, because that means when the person feels on the other side that he or she is listened to carefully, she will have the space and the time for sharing what he or she has in herself or himself. So you don't need to respond right away or quickly, because it's not a game, it's not a fight that you are doing. You assume positive intentions, don't forget that. So that means that you can listen to the other person. And also it's important when you are the one who is sharing ideas, it's also your right to be listened to. Okay. Number 4 is listen and be open to change. It's something similar what I have told you already told you, sorry about it. So you have to listen carefully, as I said, and you have to be open to change. As I said, it's important to listen to the other person, his thoughts, and also just wait a little bit, because this person, your partner's feelings, emotions, thoughts, ideas, memories, and everything that arise will shape you as well. But it is only possible that this person will shape you. Maybe your thinking is going to change if you can really listen to him or her, and if you are really having this attitude towards solving the problem. And also solution focus is very important here. That means that you are focusing on what you want to achieve, the goal, and you are not focusing on your feelings of being hurt or being not understood. You are focusing on the future and the solution. Okay. Number 5 is be specific about the issue and the impact. Many times it's really easy to generalize and make broad accusations, which means that you are saying to a person that maybe it's going to be something that you say a few times a day. For example, you never help me out with housework, or another one, you are always late from work. And you can come up with your own examples, what you say to your loved ones, your family members, and so on. So many times we accuse our partners in conversation, and that's why we have conflicts, because we are just generalizing. We are saying you never or you always. Of course, this will result in defensive response from the other side. It means that the person will feel to be attacked, and you don't want that, because you want to solve the problem, right? So if you are bringing up a problem, make sure that you give examples, okay? So instead of saying you are always late from work, if you are a manager and you're working with an employee who is okay, maybe late a few times, but instead of saying that you're always late, try to say that last week on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday you were late from work. Okay, but what is the next step? When we talk about assertive communication, we say that there are 4 steps, and I'm going to share these 4 steps. So we are trying to be specific. We are trying to tell the person exactly what is the problem. So there are 4 steps. The first step is that be objective and tell the person exactly and be very specific about what is the problem. So as I brought up this example, if you have an employee who is always late from work, say, okay, Mary, for example, I've noticed that in the past 2 weeks, out of 10 working days, you were late 20 minutes late from work. On Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, both weeks. Okay, that was the first step. So you were very specific about the problem. The second step is you have to tell the person how it makes you feel. Because in a conflict and in assertive communication, we want the other person to focus on the solution, but he needs to know how that behavior makes you feel. So going back to the example, you have to, or you should tell this person that it makes me feel that this job is not so important for you, or our meetings are not so important for you. It makes me feel. So that means that you are not telling the person how he or she is, that you are lazy, you don't care. No, it makes me feel that it's not important, or it's not an important issue for you, or not important meeting for you. So first step, be specific. The second one, that you are saying how did it make you feel. The third step is you have to say what you want from him exactly. And again, being specific means that you have to tell exactly what you want, or what you expect him to do. So when you say, okay, so you were late from work, I don't know, 3 times a week in the past 10 working days, or 6 times a week, it doesn't matter. And it made me feel that for some reason our team is not so important for you. The third one, you say, so that's why, Mary, I expect you to be on time. So you tell her, you tell the person exactly what you expect him to do, okay? Because that will help him to actually do it, right? If we just think about it and, oh, it would be so nice to, this person will not get it, or there is a chance that he will not get it. So that's why it's important to tell him what to do. So we had the 3 steps, and at the end, the fourth step, you have to tell the person what is going to happen if he continues this behavior, or if he continues, or he is going to change. So you can say, if you keep being late from work, I'm afraid we have to say goodbye to each other. That's one option. Maybe you can come up with a better one. Or you have to say, if you change this behavior, of course you are a member of our team and we continue working together. So you have the 4 steps. It's important both in business, both in private life, that remember that. First one, maybe I show this way. The first one is you are specific about the problem. So you say something, what happened. So the other person can say, yes, this is what happened, even though I don't like it. Second one, you say how it made you feel. The third, that you are very specific about what you expect from the other person. And the fourth one is basically what's going to happen if he continues to do that way, or if he changes. So basically this way, when you are very specific, it's going to help the other person to know what to do, or what can be the outcome of this behavior. Okay, so that was point number 5. I'm sorry, maybe here I spend a little bit too much time with that, explaining it, but I think it's very crucial. Number 6 is don't bring up the past. It's important because some of us feel that we need to bring up less relevant and past events, and maybe we can gain some advantage over our conversation partner. Has it happened to you? I don't want to be, I don't want to suggest that it's only for female behavior, but many times we find that women do that because we have a very good memory and we can remember what happened in the past. Guys say that they don't remember it so well, but anyway, don't bring up less relevant past events, because it's not going to help at all. So the other person might feel defensive, and it can actually distract everybody from the main point of the conversation. So if we want to solve the conflict, it's important that we focus again on the solution and not so much on the past, what happened. No should haves, no could haves. Now, oh, you should have done this and that, and then we could have moved to the other direction. No, just forget about it, and don't bring up the past. That's it. Number 7, take responsibility for your part in the problem, okay? As we know, we are not perfect, and we all make mistakes, and sometimes we like to run away from that, but this is reality. And especially nowadays, I think we have to realize that many times we don't mean to hurt another person. We don't mean to be mean with another person, but we are going through a lot of stress. Many things happen, and it changes so quickly that many times we just have to realize that we make mistakes, even though these mistakes were not intentional. We didn't mean to do that. And you have to take responsibility from your own, for your own part in a conflict, because many times it happens that it's basically you are the person, or I am the person who screwed it up. So we have to learn how to say sorry and how to try to work together in order to make it better for everyone. Okay. And this, if we are talking about the business context, it's not, it's going to demonstrate basically for every party involved in the situation that you, even though you made a mistake maybe, or part of your behavior led into a stressful situation or in a conflict. So if you are showing that, you are going to demonstrate for your colleagues, for your partners, that you really want to move on, and they are important for you, and the whole team is important for you, or the whole company is important for you. So actually you can benefit from that behavior as well. Okay, number 8, this is going to be the last one. It says focus on the future. In coaching, there is a way when we say that we are solution focused, okay? Solution focused, which means that we are focusing on the solution. So that means that we are not talking about the past, as I said it in the 6th point, don't bring up the past. So we are focusing in our conversations when there is a conflict on the future, what we want to achieve, where we want to go together. And it's going to help you to come out of this little valley, because when there is a problem, you know, there are different levels of or in the conflict, how it's going to grow and get bigger and more complicated, and even when more people are involved, it's going to worse and worse. It's going to be worse and worse. And if we are focusing on the future and the solution, when we know where we want to get at the end, it's going to help us to move through this problem. And as I said, in a valley, it looks like a valley when we are down there and we are, you know, dealing with all the problems, all the people who were involved. But when we are focusing on the future, it actually helps us to take the steps that need to be done or need to be taken in order to get out of that. So with careful conflict management, actually conflicts can be source of growth and working together, because I think when we are in a situation in our work life and also private life, life is not like a beautiful fairy tale that everything works out well. But think about it in a personal situation, when you are going through a difficult times with your partner, for example, or with your parents. If you solve the problem together, if you solve the conflict together, actually the conflict can make you stronger, or not the conflict, more the solution of the conflict can make you stronger. And also in a company, in a team, when you solve something together, you learn maybe new things about each other. Maybe you learn that, oh, it became stronger. It became, there is a bond between us because we went through many difficulties together. So actually conflicts can be sources of growth and development. And this is a very, very good news. I think, again, going back and referring back to our everyday situation right now, what we are going through right now, everything is changing, everything is different, everything is new, and we face many conflicts. But conflicts are not only conflicts between people or between teams. Conflicts can be in us, within us, which means that sometimes we have to make decisions that maybe we have never made before, and that can be a source of a conflict. But if we solve it and if we overcome it, we can learn a lot from that, and we can benefit a lot from that. So this is basically what I wanted to share with you, the 8 points, just to repeat one more time, one by one, so you will remember. Number 1 was to consider the best time and place for the conversation. Number 2, to assume positive intentions from the other side. Number 3, make sure it's a two-way conversation. Number 4, listen and be open to change. Number 5, be specific about the issue and the impact. Number 6, don't bring up the past. Number 7, take responsibility for your part in the problem. And number 8, focus on the future. So thanks for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can relate to some of these. And sorry about not being a perfect YouTube video maker, not yet, but it's going to come. We are going to see each other in a Zoom meeting. I sent you the invitation, so please register for it, download Zoom and join the meeting. If you have any questions, you can reach me via my email addresses or on Messenger. You can find me on Facebook. So try to be creative, reach out to me. I'm here, I'm listening to you, and I'm really curious. And when we are going to meet in person in the Zoom meeting, I really expect you to give some feedback. That will help me to become better. If you suggest that I should have shorter videos, longer videos, more detailed videos, more readings, less readings, or whatever, feel free to share it with me. And hope to talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.